Can our grandchild call us technologically illiterate? I'm 67 years old and have 50,000 followers on TikTok. But when my family found out, everything changed. My son and daughter-in-law told me they trusted me. They asked me to keep an eye on their house for a week. They left with a smile, even giving me a bottle of wine as a gift. But they forgot to turn off the cameras. Or maybe they didn't want to turn them off. If this story touched your heart, click subscribe and let me know in the comments which city or country you're listening from. I'm grateful to everyone who comments. My name is Dorothy Ann Whitmore. I'm 67 years old and live in a 2-story house in Cedar Hills, Portland, Oregon. It's been 5 years since I lost my husband, Harold. He was a teacher, a math teacher. I worked in a library. It might seem like an ordinary life, right? But what if I told you I have 50,000 followers on TikTok? No, I don't make dance videos. No, I don't teach makeup. I'm a vintage fashion expert. I collect, restore, and share the history of clothing from the 1,940 seconds to the 1,970 seconds. My account, @vintagegrandma, helps the younger generation discover vintage culture. But to my son Michael and daughter-in-law Jessica, I'm just the old mom who's just learning technology. It all started 3 years ago, after Harold passed away. The house was very quiet. Watching TV no longer satisfied me. One day, my granddaughter Emma, who was 15 at the time, came to visit and was playing with my phone. "Grandma," she said, "where do you find these vintage dresses? They're so cool." I showed her my collection. A section of my wardrobe was completely filled with vintage clothes. A pink taffeta ball gown from the 1,950 seconds, a mod-style miniskirt from the 1,960 seconds, disco pants from the 1,970 seconds. Emma's eyes lit up. "Grandma, you should put this on TikTok. People will love it." For my first video, I wore the pink taffeta dress. Emma taught me how to film it. The camera angle, the music, the hashtags. That video, titled "The Peak of Vintage 1952 Prom Night," got 2.3 million views. 2,300,000 people. I couldn't believe it. The next videos performed even better. I talked about the history of vintage clothing, did period makeup, shared family stories from old photo albums. Young people loved me. I got comments like, "Coolest grandma, I wish my grandma was like you, I can't wait to grow old now." But my family? For them, it was just a cute hobby. An elderly woman's attempt to fill her free time. Last month, I started receiving sponsorship offers. Vintage clothing brands, antique shops, even a documentary proposal from PBS. I was making $3,500 a month now. Extra income on top of my pension. I could stand on my own 2 feet. But when I told Michael, he laughed on the phone. "Mom, these aren't real. They're probably trying to scam you. You can't make money on TikTok. Only famous people do." "But Michael, I signed the contracts. The money is going into my account." "Mom, please don't give anyone your bank details, okay? I'll tell Jessica. She'll help you. You understand these phone things." Why would a child want to belittle his mother's success? Was he afraid, or did he just not want to accept it? They called 2 weeks ago. Jessica and Michael were going on a week-long wine tour vacation to Napa Valley. "Mom, could you do us a big favor? Would you keep an eye on our house? The neighbors are on vacation, and we need someone there for security." "Of course, dear," I said. They were family, after all. My granddaughter Emma would be at college, and I'd be home alone. I went to their house in Salem. Modern, minimalist, sterile. Everything transitioning from gray to white. No warmth, no personality. Like a clone of the home decor hashtag on Instagram. Jessica showed me the instructions. Water the plants once a day. Collect the mail. If you want to order food, the menus are here. Oh, and please stay in the guest room. Don't go into our master bedroom. "Of course," I said. Michael handed me a bottle of wine. "Make yourself comfortable, Anne. We trust you." Do they trust me? He said it in a strange way, but I didn't think about it. The first 2 days were uneventful. I watered the flowers, read books, filmed some TikTok videos. I FaceTimed with my granddaughter Emma. "Grandma, Are you at Jessica and Michael's house? Isn't their house super cool? It's great but cold, I said. No soul. Emma laughed. That's them. Everything's for show. On the third day, sitting in the living room, I noticed something. A small camera on top of the TV unit. I looked closely. It was on. The green LED was lit. Out of curiosity, I wandered around the house. Another one in the kitchen, another one in the hallway. In the guest room, they had hidden one in the corner. How would you feel if you knew someone was watching you? My first thought was innocent. It must be for security. But why didn't they tell me? And why is there one in the guest room? The computers were in the living room. The iPads were charging. Michael always kept his passwords simple. Emma had told me once, Dad's passwords are all Emma2009, my birth year. I didn't want to try. But curiosity. Curiosity is a powerful thing. I opened the iPad. Emma2009. It unlocked. The security camera app was on the home screen. I opened it. All the cameras were there. Live feed and recorded footage. I started looking through the recordings. It showed me watering the flowers, reading a book in the living room, making tea in the kitchen. Then I came across recordings from the previous week. Title: Mom was coming over. I opened it with curiosity. On the screen, Michael and Jessica were sitting, looking straight at the camera. Jessica was talking. So, are we really going to do this? I mean, your mom will be staying at our house for a week. Michael shrugged. We have no other choice. A pet sitter is too expensive, and my mom doesn't have a job anyway. We're not going to cancel her vacation. But Michael, she's old. How much can we trust her? What if she damages something? What if she messes up our house? Mom isn't like that, Michael said, but his voice wasn't convincing. She's quiet, docile. She just sits and reads books. She never goes anywhere. Jessica laughed sarcastically. Did she tell you she's on TikTok? Someone showed me. An old woman wearing old clothes, acting like she's going to go viral, trying to be an influencer. I know, Michael said, rolling his eyes. Emma told me, but it's not worth taking seriously. She's just trying to fill her free time. She seems a bit out of it since her dad died. But she's harmless. I hope she doesn't put our house on TikTok, Jessica said. The last thing we need is your mom embarrassing us. Michael laughed. Mom doesn't understand technology. She wouldn't even know about the cameras. We won't have to worry. If anything happens, we'll see it right away. What about Emma? I think she knows. Emma's at college. But I'll tell her not to say anything to her grandmother. Jessica stood up. Okay then. But seriously, Michael, your mom, she's a little weird. She's still living in the 1950 seconds. Those dresses, that hairstyle. It's like she's stuck in time. Have you ever heard someone talk behind the back of someone you love? And how did you feel in that moment? I paused the video. My hands were shaking. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. Old, harmless, cranky, weird. From my son's mouth. Was that how he saw me? But what really hurt were Jessica's words. Your mom. She's a little weird. And Michael not responding, not defending me, just laughing. I didn't cry. I couldn't cry. Instead, I felt anger. Deep, burning anger. I'm old, yes, but I wasn't stupid. Didn't understand technology. I had 50,000 followers, sponsorship deals, professional videos. I understood social media better than many young people. Was I harmless? Just sitting around reading books? No. I was building a business, making money, inspiring people. And weird? Did loving vintage clothes make me weird? Was having my own style, being myself, weird? I sat down. I thought. And I made a plan. For the next 3 days, I acted normal. I watered the flowers. I got the mail. I even filmed a light-hearted TikTok video, as if I wasn't home, and reposted one of my old videos. But I was actually working. I was strategizing. I thought Michael and Jessica knew they were being watched. But they didn't know I was watching them. I used their cameras. But this time, I was directing the story. Day 1. I accidentally showed my phone screen towards the camera in the guest room. I left my TikTok analytics open. The screen clearly showed 50,348 followers and 1.2 million views on my latest video. Day 2. I sat with my laptop right in front of the kitchen camera. My sponsorship contract was on the screen. It read, $2,500 monthly sponsorship deal with Vintage Threads brand. I read the email aloud, as if I were on the phone. Yes, Janet, I signed the contract. $2,500 a month is acceptable. There's also a meeting for a PBS documentary, which will be a bigger deal. So, how would you plan to surprise your family? On the third day, I made my move. I called Emma. Honey, I need a favor. What's up, Grandma? I'm going to send you a video. I want you to share it on TikTok, but not from my account. From yours. And tag both Michael and Jessica. What are you planning? Emma's voice was curious. Just a little lesson. It'll stay within the family. But it's an important lesson. Emma laughed. Finally! Okay, Grandma, whatever you want. That night, I filmed a special video. I wore my vintage 1968 Chanel suit. Black wool, gold buttons, perfect tailoring. I put my hair up in a bun. I put on my jewelry, the pearl necklace Harold gave me on our 40th anniversary. I sat in the living room, on the white couch Jessica called the no-touch couch. I looked directly into the camera. Hello, everyone. I'm Dorothy, also known as Vintage Grandma Dot. Today I want to share something special with you. It's about value, respect, and intergenerational communication. I'm going to tell you the story of a 7-year-old woman. This woman was left alone after losing her husband, but she didn't give up. She learned social media. She created her own content. She built a community. She inspired 50,000 people. But her family saw her as a harmless old woman, someone who doesn't understand technology, a strange person. But the truth is, this woman is learning every day. She is growing. She is changing. And most importantly, she is being herself. This video is a message to everyone who has forgotten to respect the elderly. Give your mother, father, grandmother, and grandfather a chance. Listen to them. They might surprise you. And to my young friends, don't stop learning when you grow old. Don't stop changing. Don't stop being yourself. Because age is just a number. But passion, the desire to learn, these are timeless. I sent the video to Emma. She posted it at 9 a.m. just as Michael and Jessica would be on their way back. At 11 a.m., the door opened. Michael and Jessica walked in with their suitcases. Jessica was smiling, but her eyes were cold. Dorothy, how was your vacation? She asked, as if we were friends. It was very good, I said calmly. I thoroughly enjoyed my stay at your home. Michael walked into the kitchen and checked the refrigerator. Everything looks in order. Thank you, Mom. You're welcome. Jessica looked at her phone. Her face changed. Michael, what is this? She walked towards him, showing him the screen. Isn't this your granddaughter's account? Emma? What has she shared? Michael took the phone. His face turned bright red. Mom, what is this? Which video are you talking about? I asked innocently. This. Did she tag us? Why did Emma tag us? And what does harmless old woman mean? Mom, I found your cameras, I said calmly. And your recordings. Silence. Jessica's mouth fell open. Michael shook his head. Mom, this was for security. Home security. You. To watch me? I said. No, Michael. To test me, right? Jessica stepped forward. Dorothy, you've got it all wrong. We were just... No, Jessica, I understand perfectly well. You thought I was harmless, technologically challenged. You looked down on me, talking to the cameras in the background, pretending you trusted me. Michael sat down. He buried his head in his hands. Mom, I'm sorry. We made a huge mistake. You made a mistake, I said. But now you've learned your lesson. And this video? Emma shared it from her account. I have 50,000 followers, Michael. Emma has 8,000 followers. This video has had 300,000 views so far. Do you know what the comments are saying? Grandma rocked. Never underestimate the elderly. She taught her family a lesson. Jessica was in tears. You've humiliated us. No, Jessica, I said sternly. You humiliated yourselves. I just showed the truth. Michael stood up. Mom, please take down the video. The video is on Emma's account. It was Emma's decision. But don't worry, I didn't use anyone's name. I just said family. But you know yourselves. I grabbed my bag. I walked to the door. Mom, wait, Michael called after me. I turned around. Michael, I'm 67 years old. But I'm not dead. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I still value myself. And all I asked of you was a little respect. But if you think I have to earn respect, then I'm sorry. I already had it. Not because I'm your mother, but because I'm a human being. I closed the door and left. As I got into my car, my phone rang. It was Emma. Grandma, the video went viral, 500,000 views, and someone from NBC called. They want to interview you on the morning news. I smiled. Really? Yes, they're calling you the viral grandma. It's incredible. So, did you talk to Michael? Emma fell silent. I did. He was so embarrassed. He cried on the phone. He apologized. He said he realized he didn't deserve you. My heart ached. He was still my son after all. Emma, will you take down the video? Really? But it's doing so well. Yes, dear. They've learned their lesson. It's time for forgiveness, not revenge. Emma took a deep breath. Okay, Grandma, whatever you say. But you know what? You're my hero. Tears streamed down my face. You're my hero too, Emma. A month passed. Michael called several times. He apologized. He cried. He invited me to dinner. I finally accepted. When I returned to Michael's house, everything had changed. There were colorful pillows in the living room. A vintage coffee maker sat on the kitchen counter. And on the wall was an old photo of me from 1985, dancing with Harold. Michael hugged me, his eyes filling with tears. Mom, I'm so sorry, I was blind. You're amazing, you've always been amazing, but I didn't want to see it. Jessica came over to us. Dorothy, I'm sorry too. You inspired me. I started doing something too. Pottery. I always wanted to, but I thought I was too old. But you showed me that age is no barrier. Isn't it hard to forgive? But sometimes forgiveness can be the strongest revenge. We had dinner that night. Emma came too. We laughed. We shared memories. And Michael showed me something. He had deleted the camera app. I'll never watch you again, Mom. I'll never show distrust again. I promise. Today, I have 127,000 followers on my TikTok account. A PBS documentary is being filmed. I'm sharing vintage culture with the younger generation. And most importantly, I've built a new, honest relationship with my family. Because I learned that silence isn't weakness. Silence is strength. And sometimes the strongest response is to be yourself and know your own worth. My name is Dorothy Ann Whitmore. I'm 67 years old. And I'm just getting started. When the PBS documentary offer came, I was so excited my hands were shaking. The producer was a young woman named Rebecca Chen, calling from Brooklyn. Dorothy, your story isn't just a viral video, she said on the phone. It's about the digital divide across generations. It's about redefining aging. And most importantly, it's about the power of never stopping learning. We want you to be part of our documentary, Silver Screens, the Digital Revolution in Modern Age. Silver Screens? I said. That's a nice name. We're following influencers over 60 like you. There's a gaming streamer from Dallas, 72 years old. A fitness coach from Miami, 68 years old. And you, a vintage fashion icon. Your story. Dorothy, your story is special. Because you didn't just discover yourself. You also repaired your relationship with your family. So, What do I need to do? We'll be following you for the next 3 months. We'll film your daily life, your video production process, your interactions with your family, and also, Dorothy, I have to ask this. Would Michael and Jessica be willing to be interviewed? I paused. I'll ask them, but I can't guarantee anything. That night, I called Michael. Son, I need to ask you something. There was still guilt in his voice. Mom, tell me whatever it is. I'll do anything for you. They want me to participate in a PBS documentary, but they also want to see you and Jessica, just for a few minutes, to show how we've changed, how we've grown as a family. A long silence. Then he took a deep breath. Mom, I'm ashamed. The whole world will judge me. They'll see me as the son who treated his mother this way. Michael, I said softly, nobody's perfect. But you apologizing, changing, that's important. It could inspire others. Maybe another son or daughter-in-law will watch and say, I make mistakes too. Maybe they'll change. You can make a difference. Silence again. Then, okay, Mom, I'll do it. I'll talk to Jessica. 3 days later, Rebecca and her team arrived in Portland. There were 2 cameramen, a sound technician, and a production assistant. They were shocked when they came to my house. Dorothy, this house, it's incredible, said Rebecca, looking at my vintage collection. Every era from the 1940 seconds to the 1970 seconds is represented here. Every piece has a story, I said. That 1955 Dior dress? I found it at a real estate sale in Portland. The original owner was a famous opera singer. It still smells like her perfume, Chanel No. 5. Rebecca smiled. Can you tell that to the camera? The first day of filming was strange but exciting. They started with my morning routine, making coffee, rummaging through my vintage collection, planning the day's video. Then they filmed the actual shoot. For that day, I chose a 1962 Jackie Kennedy-style pink suit, pleated skirt, fitted jacket, white gloves, pearl earrings. I filmed my TikTok video, Jackie's Style, Fashion of the Camelot Era. After filming, Rebecca asked, Dorothy, hundreds of young people are commenting on you. They say, you're cool, you're an idol, grandma goals. How does that make you feel? I thought about it. It's surprising, but at the same time, I realized I don't need validation. I mean, sure, the comments are nice, but I'm not trying to prove myself anymore. I'm just me, and that's enough. Rebecca's eyes welled up. That's perfect. We want more like that. In the second week, we went to Michael and Jessica's house for a family shoot. The atmosphere was tense. When Jessica opened the door, her makeup was perfect, but there was worry in her eyes. Welcome, she said, with a fake smile. Please come in. Michael was waiting in the living room. He was wearing a tie, which was very rare. He was clenching his hands constantly. Rebecca approached them gently. Thank you for coming here today. I know this isn't easy, but your honesty can help others. Are you ready? Michael looked at me. I nodded, meaning, everything's fine. The cameras started rolling. Rebecca asked, Michael, what was your initial reaction to your mother's TikTok career? Michael swallowed. I didn't take it seriously. I thought it was just an old woman filling her free time. But the truth is, his voice broke. The truth is, I was scared. My mom was changing. I still wanted to see her as my mom from the 1990 seconds. The mom who baked me cookies, kept quiet, said yes to everything, but she was growing up, and I wasn't ready for that. Would the change of someone you love scare you? Jessica continued. I looked down on Dorothy. I called her weird. But the truth is, I was jealous. She's 67 and brave. I'm 41 and scared. I'm scared to follow my own passions. She held up a mirror to me, and what I didn't like was actually myself. Rebecca asked, So now, how do you feel? Michael turned to me, his eyes teary. Mom, you're my hero. You showed me that age is just a number. You showed me that it's never too late to change. And most importantly, you showed me that a mother isn't just a mother. She's a human being with dreams, passions, and goals. I was too late to see that, but now I see it, and I'm so proud. My tears flowed. Rebecca's tears flowed too. Even one of the cameramen had tears in his eyes. Then Rebecca turned to me. Dorothy, is there anything you want to say to them? I took a deep breath. Michael, Jessica, I love you. We all make mistakes. But growing up is about accepting those mistakes and changing. That's what you've done. And I couldn't ask for more. Now we have a new beginning, a relationship built on honesty, and that's more valuable than anything. That evening, after the cameras were off, the three of us sat in the living room. Emma joined us on Zoom. Grandma, Emma said, you're going to go viral again. When this documentary comes out, everyone will know you. Maybe, I said. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that our bond is mending. Michael smiled. Mom, can I learn something from you? Will you teach me TikTok? Maybe I can share some things too. Math tutorial videos or father-daughter activities? Emma said excitedly. Dad, you and me together. College life, dad advice, that kind of stuff. Jessica added, I could share my pottery videos. Dorothy, will you be my mentor? I smiled. Of course, but on one condition. What? Be authentic. Be yourself, because the best content is the real stuff. Over the following weeks, the documentary crew followed me to different events. We went to a vintage fashion fair in Portland. Young designers lined up to see my collection. One of them, 3-year-old Zoe, approached me. Dorothy, I discovered vintage fashion thanks to your account, she said, her eyes sparkling. Now I'm starting a brand focused on sustainable fashion. You are my entire source of inspiration. I hugged her. No, sweetie, you are the source of inspiration. I just showed you. You took the courage. The cameras captured this. Rebecca later said, Dorothy, your influence isn't limited to just your family. You're impacting an entire generation. Another day, we visited a local nursing home. The elderly residents there recognized me. Many had seen me on TikTok, thanks to their grandchildren. Dorothy, said 1-year-old Marge, you inspired me. My granddaughter taught me how to use Instagram. Now I share my gardening photos. I have 500 followers. Marge, that's wonderful, I said. Let me see. She showed me her phone. Beautiful garden photos, flower details, macro shots of insects. Marge, these are professional quality. You're an artist. Her eyes welled up. I didn't know that. For 65 years, I was just a housewife. But now I'm an artist. Have you ever thought about when we can rediscover ourselves? At 40? At 60? At 80? Rebecca turned to me. Dorothy, this movement. It's bigger than you. It's a revolution. You're changing the way people view the elderly. That's not what I set out to do, I said honestly. I just wanted to be happy. But if it inspires others, then it's worthwhile. In the third month, we planned a special event for the documentary, my first live TikTok broadcast. Rebecca's suggestion was to talk live with my followers, answer their questions, and maybe even demonstrate live vintage styling. I was nervous. Thousands of people will be watching. What if I make a mistake? Emma laughed. Grandma, you taught Michael and Jessica. What could you possibly be afraid of talking to thousands of strangers? She was right. The day of the live stream arrived. Michael, Jessica, and Emma were at my house with me. The documentary crew was there too. We set up the cameras and created a 1,960 seconds vintage shop set up in my living room. I started the stream. Hello everyone. I'm Dorothy, Vintage Grandma Dot. Today we're going to do vintage styling live with you. And I have special guests, my family. The viewer count skyrocketed. 500, 1,000, 3,000, 10,000. Comments started pouring in. Oh my God, Dorothy, live. My grandma loves you so much. This is family reconciliation. I'm crying. Are Michael and Jessica here? I want to see them. Michael appeared on screen, giving a shy wave. Hello, everyone. I... I'm Dorothy's son, and I owe you all an apology. I underestimated my mother, but she taught me a lesson. Now, I'm her biggest fan. The comments exploded. Redemption arc. This is real. I love it. I'm crying. Jessica appeared on screen, her eyes teary. I'm Jessica, and I learned that jealousy is destructive. Dorothy showed me that it's never too late to be ourselves. Now I'm a Potter too, and I'm happy. Emma joined via Zoom. Hi, I'm Emma, the granddaughter of the coolest grandma. Grandma, thanks to you, I learned that being an influencer isn't just for young people. You're a legend. That night, 47,000 people watched the live stream. I dressed Emma in vintage clothes, describing them over Zoom. Jessica and I showed 1,950 seconds kitchen fashion. Michael asked me questions about 1,960 seconds men's fashion. Most importantly, I talked to my followers. I had real conversations. A question came up. Dorothy, wasn't it scary to start something new at 67? Of course it was scary, I said. But fear shows we're alive. Fear shows we still care. If I weren't afraid of anything, it would mean I wasn't trying anything. And that's the real death. Not physical, but spiritual. Another question. How did your relationship with your family change? I used to think I had to be a good mom for them to love me, but then I realized that real love isn't conditional. Real love is accepting each other as we are. Michael and Jessica looked down on me. Yes, but they apologized, and they changed. That takes courage. Is true love conditional, or is it unconditional? The live broadcast ended. The number of viewers had reached 52,000 at the last minute. The comments were still pouring in. This was the best live broadcast ever. Dorothy, your generation is an example. Michael and Jessica, you guys are amazing too. It takes courage to change. Rebecca turned off the camera. Dorothy, this was perfect. This is exactly what we need for the documentary. 2 months passed. The PBS documentary, Silver Screens, The Digital Revolution in Old Age, aired in November. Prime time at 8 p.m. Michael and Jessica invited me to their home. Emma joined via Zoom from university. We watched it together. The documentary began. They showed Bill, a gaming streamer in Dallas, 72 years old, playing Fortnite with his grandchildren. They showed Gloria, a fitness coach in Miami, 68 years old, teaching yoga and strength training. Then, my segment came on. On screen, I appeared rummaging through my vintage collection. My voice was heard. Every piece has a story, just like every person has a story. Then our family interview, Michael's tears, Jessica's confession, my forgiveness. Then the live stream scenes, 52,000 people watching me. And finally my closing statement. Old age is not an end. Old age is a continuation. As long as we continue, as long as we learn, as long as we change, we live. And me? I'm not done yet. The documentary ended. Silence. Then Emma screamed on Zoom, Grandma, you are a star. Michael and Jessica applauded. They were both crying. Mom, Michael said, did you see that? How big your impact is. You're not just doing TikTok. You're changing lives. Jessica added, Dorothy, I'm proud of you. And I want you to know, you changed my life. I'm not afraid anymore. My pottery class started. I have 6 students. They all said they were inspired by you. My eyes welled up. You are my greatest success. Not viral videos. Not followers. Reconnecting with you. This is more valuable than anything. That night, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Hundreds of messages, emails, comments. Dorothy, even though you're not my grandmother, you're like my grandmother. My mother and I had a falling out. I called her because of your story. We apologized. Thank you. My 6-7-year-old father watched your documentary and now wants to learn Instagram. But most importantly, Harold's sister Susan called. She was 74, living in Arizona. We hadn't spoken since Harold died. It was too painful. "Dorothy," she said, her voice trembling, "I watched the documentary, and I saw Harold in you. He always knew you were this strong. I didn't see it, but I see it now. I'm sorry. We lost 5 years. But I don't want to lose the rest." I cried. "Susan, I'm sorry too. Let's go back. It's never too late." "Does forgiveness bring back the time we lost?" "No, but it makes the time we have left valuable, doesn't it?" 6 months have passed. Today is April 2026. My follower count is now 340,000. It exploded after the PBS documentary, but more importantly, my life has changed. Michael now films videos with me. He started the Math with Michael series as a math teacher. He explains how math is used in everyday life. He has 18,000 followers. Jessica's pottery account, at Clay by Jessica, has reached 25,000 followers. And you know the best part? The three of us started the Generations Together series, 3 generations, 3 different perspectives, 1 family. Emma graduated. She now works at a digital marketing agency in New York. But she still consults me. "Grandma, I need an idea for a new campaign. What do you think?" And me? I'm still learning. Last month I started a YouTube channel. I started sharing on Instagram too. I expanded from TikTok to Pinterest. But the most important change is inside me. I'm no longer trying to prove myself. I'm no longer waiting for others' approval. I'm just me. And that's enough. Yesterday I was at a cafe in Portland. A young woman came up to me, her eyes teary. "Dorothy," she said, you're vintage Grandma Dot, aren't you?" "Yes, sweetie," I said, smiling. "That's me. I need to thank you. My mom and I hadn't spoken in 10 years. Your documentary brought us together. Now we talk on the phone every week. Thanks to you, my family is back." I hugged her. And in that moment, I understood. Going viral, follower counts, sponsorships, those are nice. But the real impact happens in the quiet moments. A mother and daughter talking again, a son valuing his mother, a grandmother realizing her own worth. Last week, Michael showed me something. He had taken all his old cameras out of the house. All of them. "Mom," he said, "I'm never going to film you again. Because I want you to trust me. Really trust me." "Michael," I said, holding his hand, "I already trust you. Because you've changed. And changing takes the greatest courage." Today, I turned 68. Emma organized a surprise birthday party, both in person and on Zoom. Michael, Jessica, Aunt Susan, my old library friends, even the documentary crew came. Rebecca made a toast. To Dorothy, not just for being an influencer, but for showing us that it's never too late to change. Michael added, to my mom, the strongest woman, the bravest woman, and the most forgiving woman. Jessica added, to Dorothy, the woman who inspires me, encourages me, and teaches me to be real. Emma shouted from Zoom, to my grandma, the coolest grandmother, social media queen, and my best friend. My tears flowed, from happiness, from gratitude, and from freedom, because I understood. Growing old is not a loss. Growing old is a gain. We gain experience, wisdom, confidence, and most importantly, we gain ourselves. Now I want to ask you a question, dear viewers. Have you ever lost yourself? Under the expectations of others? To be a good mother, good son, good spouse? And if you have, when will you start to find yourself again? At 40? At 50? At 60? Or today? Because I can tell you this, the best time is today, now, this moment. I started at 67. How old are you? My name is Dorothy Ann Whitmore. I'm 68. I have 340,000 followers on TikTok. I just started on YouTube. I'm growing on Instagram. But more importantly, my son is proud of me. My daughter-in-law calls me her mentor. My granddaughter sees me as her best friend. And me? I'm no longer silent. But I know the power of silence. Because sometimes silence is the strongest speech. Sometimes waiting is the greatest action. And sometimes being ourselves is the greatest revolution. Dear viewers, if this story touched your soul, please comment. Let me know which city or country you're watching from. What's your story? When did you find yourself? Or are you still searching? Write to me, because maybe your story will change someone else, just like my story did.